lovelies, welcome back to lesson 4 of our Girl Gang Fall 2018 study called Struggle in Strength, Cultivating Intentional Friendships. My name is Pastor Jessica Huffman. I'm so thankful that you've stayed with us every step of the way. You probably know by now that we have talked about what it means to be a good friend, what it means to find safe friends, but then next, finding and cultivating intentional friendships through time and through fostering versus forcing. And in this lesson, I want to talk to you about something that is a really wonderful topic to talk about when it comes to friendships. And in the previous studies, we've kind of looked a little bit more inward, and this time we're going to look a little bit more outward regarding the seasons that our friends are in. And before we dive in, I want to share with you the scripture that we're going to be using throughout this next lesson. And it comes from Proverbs 27:9, and it says this: "Oil and incense bring joy to the heart, and the sweetness of a friend is counsel to the soul." So let's break down that Proverbs for just a minute. And there's two very important parts I want to highlight for you. The first one is this, where it says, "Oil and incense bring joy to the heart." The one thing I want to remind you, lovelies, every step of the way is that friendships are meant to bring joy to you. Yes, they challenge you. Yes, they can be fun. Yes, sometimes they can be a little challenging, but at the end of the day, they're meant to bring joy to our hearts. And they're a natural byproduct of enjoying the company of another person, that we find ourselves a little bit happier and more excited when we're in their presence. So don't forget, our ultimate objective is to find joy in all of the relationships that we make, and also find joy in the seasons that our friendships go through. The second part of that proverb says, "And the sweetness of a friend is counsel to the soul." Now here's the wonderful part about friends, is that they're here to refresh us, they're here to bring joy to us, but they're also here to bring counsel and support. They contribute to our emotional and spiritual well-being. Therefore, we owe it to ourselves to learn how to be friends that stand the test of time, even when the seasons change in our lives and in those of our friends. The first seasonal friend I would like to talk to you about is the friend in similar seasons. This is the individual in your life that you have commonality and mutuality with. They're the ones that you share very similar interests, possibly seasons of life, even hobbies or other things that you just connect so strongly. It's that person that says, "You too," when you have conversations with them. And it could be you have young babies and you're a part of the same group or church organization, or maybe it's somebody that you work with who's in a similar season of life as you guys cultivate what's next in your career. Whatever it is, you share something so wonderful. That commonality and mutuality is something that we can really compare to those that we're in the trenches with. Just like an individual, a soldier who goes to battle, and you realize that you need somebody right next to you in that trench who's going to not only have your back, but you can link arms with, and you can say, "We are in this together. We are facing the same things together. We are talking about the same things together. We are possibly even experiencing joy in the same things together." It's so important to have that. These are the people that are going to bring such sweet refreshment and joy to our heart, just like that Proverbs talked about. Friends in similar seasons to our own can be like soldiers when they fight, and you need those people that can pick up that shield with you and it can say, "Guess what, girlfriend? You are not alone." So no matter where you're at or what you're doing in life, you gotta find a friend who is in a similar season of life. The second seasonal friend that we need are friends in different seasons. You know, I was talking about the soldiers and being in the trenches with them. Well, I'm going to carry that example over to this one. You know, when we find camaraderie in those people who are in the same battle beside us, but we also need to find those people in the battle that have fought the battles before us. They're the ones that are the lieutenants and the captains. They know exactly where you have been and where to go and what it looks like as an overcomer, a victor, even a winner of that war, that battle that you're facing. You need somebody that's ahead of you. And I'm not just talking about in age. I'm talking about walks and seasons of life. Here's the thing. You can look back in your life and say, you know what? I had people that I connected with in that same season, and I had those people that I know I could pick up the phone, text message, hang out with, be in a group, and just say, share with me what your experiences are been in the same season that I have been. And you know what? That takes honor, because you have to honor those types of relationships that are in different seasons. These friends are not in the same season, may not share the exact same common or mutual interests, but they pour into us different ways. They give us counsel, they offer wisdom, they even hold steady in their own season while breathing life into the very one we are standing in. These are the people that are going to say to you, lean in, don't quit, don't give up, I promise it's going to be better. There is no reason we should be intimidated by any of these types of friends in our life, even if they're strong, vivacious, sassy, quiet, or people that we might not be in close proximity with. They're still friends that we can honor in the same season that we are in, to breathe life into us. And these are the friends that are sweetness to our souls. The third friend I want to talk to you about today is the friends in shifting seasons. It might sound a little bit more nebulous, but I want to break it down a little bit for you. You know, sometimes friendships ignite between two people in the same seasons, but life swoops in and takes you to different places spiritually, emotionally, practically. And here's the thing. Just because you might be getting married and they're still single doesn't take away from the fact that what you had as friends is still really amazing. It just means seasons are shifting just a bit, and it can kind of throw us off balance a little bit, and we can look at one another and wonder what's going on with our friendship, can even call into question the wonderful things that we've built over time. Don't let it do that. Because here's the thing, shifting seasons just mean that one person or both of you are experiencing different dynamics in your seasons of life, but it never takes away from the roots that you both have put into place to have a solid and secure friendship. You know what it takes? It takes trust and love. Trust to know that if one person is having children and the other person is not, the one person is going through crisis and the other person is not, that you trust the timing of what God is doing in their life and your own, and that one is not better or less than, but God is doing something amazing through both individuals. You have to trust the timing of their life and the timing of yours. Maybe you might feel like those seasons don't match up. Trust what God is doing in your life to know that it's beautiful and it's wonderful, and it doesn't need to be compared to what this friend and that friend are or are not going through. That love value as well has to stay so intact. And here's why. Because when we love one another, we will give grace to those moments that we need grace. Ever walked through a tragedy with a friend? I'm telling you, it's so hard sometimes to stay patient, to stay gracious, to stay kind, to stay intentional, to stay in the trenches with that individual. Because here's the thing, they're going through it personally, maybe not necessarily you, but you see your friend struggling. And the best thing that you can give them is love. Because here's the thing, when you're in a shifting season, you're going to want all of your friends to give you that love as well. It's some of the greatest gifts that we can give to our people and to our tribe and to our friends and to our girl gang. When we are secure in the type of friend we are, we know that our friendship is a safe space to be and grow in. And that is a God-honoring thing that we have to foster well. Trust and love lead to the way even when life takes us to different seasons. It could be destinations. It could be places and spaces where your friendship will go. But here's the wonderful thing. Shifting seasons are not necessarily bad things. It's just a reflection of a space and a grace that God is doing in your lives. To summarize the 3 seasonal friendships we just talked about, let's review them one more time. The first one is this: friendships in similar seasons. These are the people that you have commonality and mutuality with. You gotta find those, gotta cultivate them. Find those people that you're gonna share wonderful hobbies and discussions and time and centered around the things that you both share that's so wonderful and joyful. The next one is friendships in different seasons. This is where we cultivate the value of honor, where we honor what God has done in them and is doing in them, and we realize that they have something that they can speak into our life. Find them, foster them, cultivate them, be intentional about those people, and respect and honor the season that God has them in. The third one is shifting friends. And that's the shifting seasons that you might find yourself in with people that you love. And you know what it takes? Trust and love. You know, in Ecclesiastes 4:12, it says this: though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves, and a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. Regardless of whether you have friends in the same exact season as you or friends that are in different seasons, the truth of the matter is that we are all in this together. Whether we are years ahead or we're right there in it together, side by side, God has given us the gift of friendship to be something that's so precious and bring joy, but also counsel and support to our soul. Just as we have in every other lesson, we want to encourage you to dig deep and go a little bit further into discussion and dialogue. But before you do that, I want to ask you 3 questions. First is this: answer the questions from the struggle and strength lesson with honesty and vulnerability. Be willing to open up the parts of your heart that maybe you've never discussed with other people. Go deep. Know that you're in a safe place and that these women love you and want to encourage you further into cultivating seasonal friendships. The second question is this: ask God to show you where potential friendships have commonality, mutuality, trust and love, and honor. Be willing to say, you know what? This is really something wonderful that I have going on in my life, or so-and-so and I have really been able to dig deep and we've been able to go there, and this person is somebody I can look to and honor in the season that they are in ahead of me and they speak into my life. Just identify those people that you can begin to apply this study to. The third thing is this: accept responsibility for the ways that you might have struggled within these relationships. Be willing to say, I'm sorry, ask for forgiveness. Be willing to have that tough conversation. Be willing to admit where it's very hard for you to operate within one of these seasons, or maybe you've really failed as a friend. The goal is that we cultivate intentional friendships. And that means we're going to struggle, but we're also going to discover such strength with one another. I'm so proud of you. I love you. I believe in you. And I can't wait until we discuss our next lesson. So stay the course, lean in, dig deep, find beautiful friendships along the way, and I will see you for our next lesson.